Hello, guys. Welcome back to Christianity Reloaded. Today, we are looking at what is happening in the Christian world. You know what I mean? And today, I'm gonna talk about Protestantism and Catholicism. And you know what I mean? Because the Protestantism are not gathering with us because some of lukewarm Catholics think that is a communism, and this Protestantism is not bad. But they are not. They are working against us. They are working against us Catholics. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna show you an example. Look at because when you look at Protestantism and their history, is always they don't go for they don't go for new evangelization. Like they don't go to a country that have not heard about Christianity and evangelize them. That's why you cannot find a country that just sprout out of Protestantism, new country. You can't find it in the world. You know, what you find is that they start feeding like on Christian converts. Like even the Protestantism when it started in 1500, it's not started in Christian nation already. The Europe are Christian already. That's when it spread, and they start growing, taking convert away from the Catholic Church, which is before Protestantism, the Western world was 90% Catholics. But what's happening today? It's not 90% anymore. But I'm not talking about Europe today. I'm going to use Brazil as an example because in 1977, Brazilians were 97% Catholics until the Protestantism from America creep in there and start our taking away people from Catholics, turn them away from Catholic Church. You know what I mean? That's what they do. That's what proselytizing. That's what the Protestant does. They does it a lot. But the Catholic Church, we don't. When we preach, we never say, "Oh, look, this church." We don't even condemn other churches, which we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be on the offensive now, and because some people might, when they watch my channel, they might think like this guy is always going on Protestantism, or he's turned off like you're always going on. But when you look at what the Protestantism is doing to the Catholics, you see, these people are not gathering with us. They are scattering. Because by the end of the day, Protestantism is not from God. I can say that. I'm not saying like it's not from God means that God allowed it to happen, but it's not that God wanted it to happen. This is not the will of God. And we see it because what Protestant does is that they will go and take members from Catholic Church and turn them into atheism. Look at all the churches, all the major places Protestantism sprang today. Look at England, for instance. England is like a theist country now. But they were like 80% Protestantism. This is what they do, and this is what's going to happen in Brazil. They took people away from the Catholic Church and made them Protestants, and with time, they become Brazil will become a theist country. That's what they do. Go and check every place you see Protestantism. What the Protestantism, what it brings is atheism, liberalism, as you see. Look at even Canada, for instance. Look at how liberal Canada is. You know what I mean? You can't even put some Bible verses in Canada. If it is, the politicians will be against you. You know what I mean? Look at Australia. Just look at all these places you have Protestantism taking root there. What they do is by the end of the day, they turn people to atheist or liberal stuff, and once they turn that way, that's it. These people they hardly come back. You know what I mean? And Brazil is a very sad example because now I think the Brazilians, the church authorities there were sleeping. they were sleeping. This how can you just within not even 100 years, 1970, you're looking at 50 years interval, and the Catholic Church is from 97% down to 50. Some people put it at 51, some people say it's 53, but this is tragic, you know what I mean? It's very tragic that Brazil is no longer a Catholic country. And you see, you can see, when you look at Brazil, you can see what it used to be. Look at the Christ, the Redeemer statue they built there. That Christ is I'm not blaming, like I cannot just blame the hierarchy there, because sometimes it's not like they didn't work. It's just that these people, their job is to take people away from Catholic Church. That's what that's what Protestantism is. They don't go and convert, new convert. You can never see, because they're not organized. They always go where they know, like the Catholic Church, it's gonna. So because not everybody is categorized well in Catholic Church. The catechism. Sometimes the catechism in Catholic Church doesn't. It's not about. I think what's happened with the Catholic Church, I can say, is that they leave people to experience God. So like they don't come and tell you, like, look, they don't go to they don't start with negative stuff like Protestantism. They want to talk to you about Christianity. They start with negative stuff, But the Catholic Church doesn't do it. We don't say we don't come and preach somebody and say, this church is not good. This church is bad. No. We don't do that. We don't even remember that other churches exist. We just preach the gospel, and people come, and people that have experience of God in the Catholic Church, they don't go away. Those ones will stay in the church and die in the church. But some people, if they have that religious experience, and they're not strong in their faith, like they don't know their catechism, they don't know about the church, the history of the church, they might fall away. But all hope is not lost, because some of them that switch to Protestantism, with time, some of them will come back, but it's gonna be like few of them. No, it's not all of them, but a small portion of them will still come back. You know what I mean? And with time, if we go on attack, because now we're just relaxing and leaving this Protestants to have a field day. But if we go on attack, maybe we convert some of these Protestants back to the Catholic Church. You know what I mean? Because Protestantism is a different religion. Is they have like few truth there. And the few truth they have, because Protestantism break away from Catholic Church. They got the Bible, and the Bible is the word of God, and they have it. That's the truth they have, and the sacrament they don't have. They have few. I think it's only marriage they have, and this Bible and baptism 3. But they don't. This is not fullness of faith. That's why people from there start to goes to atheism. You know what I mean? Peace.